Hey, welcome back to House of Worth. I'm your host, Celia Sasser. And today we will be diving into the 10th house. And the 10th house is all about your public reputation, it is your career, it is also your father relationship, as well as your legacy, what you're leaving behind without you even knowing that you're going to. And then also, it is how other people think who you are, right? Because we live in a world where it's about what you do and not who you truly are. So, this is your doing house. And I'm choosing the office for the room in your house. I'm not going to be posting pictures. I will go over each zodiac sign of the 10th house according to your rising sign. But an office can be many different things according to your career. So I won't be sharing images because by now you know what your aesthetic is, but I will be going into what this covers as far as the placement of your 10th house. Now, the office is where you prove your value. It's where you meet expectations as well as what you inherit from other people, from society, from your parents, uh, what success means without really knowing your idea of success. And the 10th house shows where authority was modeled for you. That's why we're going to be talking about father relationship. It's often through your father and early authority figures. So, it's like whatever you're tied to, whether it was religion, the father in religion, the the authority figure like a teacher or a boss or a parent. And so maybe you might feel like you don't really know yourself because there's been so much authority. Um, and so that's why you're going to be wondering if that authority even fits in your life anymore. Now, why you might have found my channel is because many of you are probably in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, and your life feels chaotic. Your roles have stopped working. You did everything right and still feel disconnected. And some of you might be men trying to understand your partner or reconnect with your own feminine nature. So, women know that something is happening. In their 40s, they're going through an initiation. In their 50s, the world feels like it's crumbling when they get closer to 50. And then in their 60s, they're starting to build their legacy. And so, as a male, you probably feel this if you are connected to your feminine, or you might just want to understand what your partner is going through because every woman goes through an initiation. There's a goddess that will appear when you are connected. If you are still living externally, you won't notice when the goddess comes, and then that's where you have that dark night of the soul because there is no other way to get you to sit with yourself. And so the initiation happens, around your midlife, but it's not a crisis. It's like I said, it is being invited into the initiation to discover yourself. And perimenopause is when the goddess archetype appears. She dismantles your false authority and asks you to stop performing. I'm going to be creating another series after the House of Worth, and that's when I'm going to be going into that. But why the House of Worth even exists is because as I went through my journey of discovering astrology, I understood more about the planets and asteroids we have in our chart. I got very familiar with Chiron, who is where your worth was wounded. And then also Saturn, because it shows you discipline, um, where you've learned through pressure. And Saturn is the natural ruler of the 10th house, which is the natural placement is Capricorn. But Chiron, according to the year you were born, you will have it in a different zodiac sign, and it'll be in a different house. And that is going to explain the character of this wound as well as what area in your life that you're experiencing it. And for me, it was in the second house, or is in the second house of Pisces. And so I went on to this spiritual path. That's where my wound was leading me, and all about the psyche and then understanding patterns and astrology. So that's where I'm right on course here, okay? If this is something that you enjoy talking about and you want to learn more about, please hit the subscribe button and share this with a woman that you know is in her 40s through her 60s and might be experiencing this and not really understanding what she's going through. Or if you have a male counterpart who's your friend and he's going through it and he wants to better understand what his wife is going through. And we're going to dive into the 10th house and starting with Aries. All right, so if you are an Aries rising, then you would have Capricorn in the 10th house. Like I was saying, Capricorn's the natural placement for the 10th house and is ruled by Saturn. And your career would be in leadership through mastery. Your reputation is serious and respected, and your father, it might have been demanding or distant. Why this is important to know, because when it comes to relationships, you bond with your partner from this wound. And when you go through the initiation of transitioning out of your mother energy into the crone, um, into the wise woman, then things that how you bond it with your partner are no longer going to resonate with you. And so there's a high rise of divorce around this time because you're not wanting to play by the old contract because you are still learning about yourself. So this is when you're stepping into your power. And so if you have this wound, it will show up during that time. So your legacy is something that lasts. And then your strength is authority and your shadow is overworking. Now, if you are a Taurus rising, then you have Aquarius in the 10th house. And your career is innovation and systems change. And your reputation is being unconventional. Your father might have been detached or unpredictable. Again, like I was saying for Aries, I will repeat this. If you are in a relationship, you bond with what you didn't get from your father or someone that is like your father, and that is coming up when you are going through the initiation of finding your wise woman. And a lot of divorce happens around this time because you don't resonate with the old contract that you made with your partner. So be aware of what's happening there. All right. And then also your legacy has an impact on the future. And your strength is originality, and your shadow is emotional detachment. Now, if you are a Gemini rising, you have a Pisces in the 10th house. Your career would be in healing, art, or spirituality. Your reputation would be soulful and elusive. Your father might have been absent or idealized. And then your legacy is emotional imprint. Your strength is empathy, and your shadow is lack of boundaries. So, this is going to come up when you go through your initiation of becoming the wise woman. And if you trauma bonded with a partner who is absent or is idolized, it will come up during this time. Now, if you are a Cancer rising with an Aries 10th house, your career is entrepreneurship and leadership. Your reputation is bold and initiating. Your father might have been assertive or volatile. Your legacy is courage. Your strength is initiative, and your shadow is burnout. So if you have a bond or a partner who's very assertive or volatile, it could have something to do with the relationship that you have with your father or something you saw growing up in the house. So when you go through the initiation of becoming the wise woman, that's going to come up so that you can heal that. And uh, you might not resonate with your old contract of marriage when you were still in your maiden or your mother era. Now, if you are a Leo rising and you have a Taurus 10th house, then your career is stability, wealth, and values. Your reputation is dependable. Your father was a provider. Your legacy is security. Your strength is consistency. And your shadow is resistance to change. So if you have been attracted to a partner who's a provider, when you go into your wise woman era, you might want to unattach yourself from that. You want to create your own thing. So you're going to feel that and you're not going to resonate with your old marriage contract as you go through the initiation. Now, if you are a Virgo rising, then you would have Gemini in the 10th house, which your career is teaching, writing, media. Your reputation is intelligent. Your father is mentally influential, and your legacy is ideas, and your strength is communication, and your shadow is scattered and focused. Now, your father's reputation of mentally influential could be, it doesn't have to be like your birth father, it could be a father figure and someone that was more distant, didn't show affection, but you looked up to them because they um, they had a public reputation where people looked up to them. So that's where you thought that that's how you connected with them, but then you realized you weren't being given what you needed, the connection you wanted, because it was more about being surface level in the head. The reason why this is important is that when you get the calling to go through your initiation, to go through the wise woman, if you have a contract that is out of alignment, a trauma bond, because you didn't get what you wanted, it's going to come up during your late 40s and into that period so that you can step into your wise woman era. Now, if you are a Libra rising, then you have a Cancer in the 10th house, and your career is caretaking, leadership, reputation of being nurturing. Your father might have been emotionally influential. Your legacy is emotional safety, your strength is compassion, and your shadow is over giving. So, again, when you look at your father, he your ideal father might have been emotionally influential, um, but maybe you didn't receive that, and that's where the overgiving comes with your shadow. And the reason why this is important is because when you reach your late 40s and you are being initiated into the wise woman era, if your contract doesn't match the new version of you, that marriage will fall apart if your partner is not willing to grow with you. Okay, moving right along. If you are a Scorpio rising, you would have Leo in the 10th house. So your career would be creative leadership. It doesn't have to be in the arts, could be in the arts, but you're as a leader, you're very creative. Your reputation is being very magnetic. Your father could have been dominant or admired. Your legacy is recognition, your strength is confidence, and your shadow is ego wounds. So, with the father being dominant or admired, you might have felt invisible when it came to the relationship with your father. And so, the reason why it's important to know this is that when you are going through your initiation into the wise woman, these things are going to come up. And so if your partner who you married is treating you like you are invisible or very dominant over you, then you might have signed up to that contract when you were in your wounded. But as you go through this metamorphosis, you are stepping into your power and you are no longer going to align with that contract anymore. And let's move on to Sagittarius Rising. If you are a Sagittarius Rising, then you would have Virgo in the 10th house. And your career would be service systems and healing. Your reputation is competent. Your father might have been critical or practical. Your legacy is improvement. Your strength is precision. Your shadow is perfectionism. So, if you are in your 40s, your late 40s, you're going to be heading into initiation of the wise woman. So that's why it's so important for you to know the relationship that you have with your father, because women bond with what they didn't get from their father or like their father. So your shadow is perfectionism. So if you have bonded with a partner who's very practical or critical of you, then that is why you have this shadow of perfectionism, and not feeling like you're enough. So when you are in your maiden, you are looking for a partner from those wounds. When you become a mother, you disappear because you're busy raising a family. And then when you go through your initiation, that's when all of these beliefs and these shadows that are not self have to come up to the surface. So you're not going to resonate with that old contract that was your marriage when you were in the era of being the maiden and the mother. And so either your partner is going to grow with you or he is just going to say I'm out because can't can't relate with the new version that is birthing. Now, if you are a Capricorn rising, then you would have Libra in the 10th house. And your career would be diplomacy, justice. Your reputation is composed, and your father is image focus. And the legacy you leave is harmony. Your strength is mediation, and your shadow is people pleasing. So, again, if you have a father that is image focused, then you are going to always be pleasing him to measure up to what he expects. And so that's a shadow part of you. And the reason why it's important for you to understand this is because when you head into your late 40s and you go through the initiation of menopause to become the wise woman, that's going to come up for you because you can no longer stay as the people pleaser when you are birthing a new self as the wise woman. So the contract that you signed with this partner, you no longer resonate with it. Either they're going to grow with you or they're going to try to hold you back until the point that it breaks and you move on. Now, if you are an Aquarius rising, you would have Scorpio in the 10th house. So your career is transformation and psychology. Your reputation is intense and private. Your father is controlling or powerful. Your legacy is deep change. Your strength is emotional depth. And your shadow is control. So, if you have a father wound and you have someone that seemed very controlling and that's what you picked up, and you might not even know. I'm going to use myself as an example because I'm in Aquarius Rising. So I do resonate with the Scorpio 10th house, but as far as the father controlling or powerful, I had an absent father. And so the shadow of control is dimming your light because you don't want your partner to leave. Um, and you might attract a partner that seems very controlling or powerful because that is what this house resonates with. So for me, my partner has very controlling aspects of what he likes to control in his environment. So he takes charge in everything, but that is a shadow. So that allows you to dull yourself, to dim your light and not step into your power. So when you go through the initiation where the goddess presents herself in your late 40s and your Chiron appears, which is about your worth, in whatever house it is in, that is something you have to work through. And then when you go through your Saturn return, you're going to have to learn how to have control and be in charge of your own life and stop letting somebody else take the lead. And either your partner is going to embrace that and be pleasantly surprised, or he's going to fight against it because he's used to being in control and being the one who holds the power. So that will come up, and you will realize that you have to cut your old contract of marriage, whatever way it's going to show up for you. And either your partner is going to be willing to grow with you, or he's going to say, I can't handle this new version of you and I'm out. So that's being aware of what's coming up, because the wise woman phase, when you go through this metamorphosis, it seems very chaotic and like your life is falling apart, but really you're just becoming more of yourself. So moving on to Pisces rising. If you have Pisces, you have a Sagittarius 10th house. Your career is teaching and philosophy. Your reputation is being wise, but far above your age. Your father has moral authority, and your legacy is meaning, your strength is vision, and your shadow is dogma. So you have a father that, you know, has very high morals, but then if he is attached to dogma like religion and the patriarchal system, then that is a shadow. That's where you bonded with a partner under those terms, thinking it was admirable at the time, but now because moral authority seems admirable. But when you hit your where you're transitioning into your wise woman phase, you will no longer align with that. And so your contract is needs to be cut and rewritten with your partner if he doesn't want to grow with you. If he still wants to hold the high ground, then either you're going to get uncomfortable because you're constantly choosing him until you choose yourself. So this is very important when you step into the wise woman era, that you understand the transition you are going, because your public image is changing. Okay, so now this part of the video, we're just going to talk about integration. So this is something that you need to do for neuroplasticity in order to change that belief that is on repeat. So choose one sentence that resonates with this relationship, this father dynamic, and your shadow self. You know, do some journaling around it and then come up with a sentence that you resonate more, um, that explains your public reputation and how you want the world to see you. And then repeat it daily for 7 days. And then pair it with one small aligned action. So, for instance, if you are wanting to be in your worth and and feel comfortable with being seen, then you're going to write a sentence. Maybe it is safe for me to be me, and you repeat that for 7 days. It is safe to be me. 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 And then you pair it with an action. So what can you do that might feel like it's scary, but it's safe for you to be you? So for instance, like maybe it's recording yourself and talking about something that's important to you and sharing it with the world. That is stepping out of your comfort zone, and that is integrating that it is safe for you to be you. So the 10th house is not about success. It is about who you became to survive and why you are ready to release it. This is about reclaiming you. It's a reclamation of who you are. And that's all I have for you. So I will see you in the next house. Be sure to like this video, leave a comment, and share it with a friend.